Okay. Hello, good evening, everyone. And this is our last session of this series of research methodology. And of course, this is the last session of this course, but it is not the last session forever. So definitely you need more learnings, more book readings to get more control of understanding of the research concepts, because definitely one course is not enough, and definitely not from a very young person like me who himself is trying to learn the things. So there are so many good resource people, books are there from whom you can learn a lot of things about the research methods. So but still it is a important first step maybe for some of you, and may not be the first step for some of you, but at least it is a step towards academic research. And I hope till here we are making some progress in the learning. And right, so I think so. If I will come to today's session, so we need to start. We need to talk about the sampling, and then we will talk about the quantitative methods and analysis, and then we'll talk about the qualitative methods and analysis. Right. So three things we'll try to cover. And of course, we won't be able to cover everything about the quantitative or everything about the qualitative, but I will be sharing with you some of the most important aspects of all three of these methods, or all those three topics, right? Sampling, quantitative methods and analysis, and qualitative methods analysis. I'll just give you very short overview at least. And then at the end, I think with the permission of the moderator, I would like to take 5 to 10 minutes if somebody want to give a quick feedback about this whole course, so that I can improve my course for the next batch of students. And at the end, again, if Anup gives me permission, I would like to take a screenshot with all the students who are attending this course, so for a pleasant memory for myself. So this is the agenda for today. And I hope like earlier sessions, even today's session will go with some learnings for all of us. Okay. Yes. Okay. Before I start the session, do we have any question? Do we have any question? No. Okay. So let's directly, we will go to the sampling section. And let me just quickly reach to the sampling part. Yes. Yesterday we discussed levels of measurement, and which is very important when we find our variables. And after that, we need to tell what is the type of the variable which you are trying to understand, and why it is important to understand the level of measurement or the type of your variable, because that only will tell what kind of statistical analysis tools you can use on that particular variable, right? So that is very important to understand nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. After this, we started the sampling part, and we understood about population sample and about the sampling bias, right? And the sampling bias happens because when we choose people, or we choose any entities like organizations, or maybe even some bacteria, if you are studying biology, or so there is a strong chance we may underrepresent or overrepresent the characteristics of the sample. And what do we mean by underrepresent or overrepresent? Means the true characteristics of the populations are not reflected in the sample. And because of that, there will be sampling bias. Like we took this example. So this is a representative sample, because here also we have 33% satisfied, and here also we have 33% satisfied. Maybe the number is less. Here we have the 15 people, here we have the 6 people. But this is called as a representation, or a representative sample, because they are having the same characteristics. 33% happy here, 33% happy here. But this sample, though the number is same, here also we have the 6, here also we have the 6, but this sample is called as unrepresentative of the population, because here the if you see the satisfaction, we have the more people who are satisfied here, like 66%. So we can, so any calculation you will do based upon this sample, it will give you an impression that people are so happy, right? So any data you will collect from this sample, it will not be the right representation of the population, because in the population we know there are 33% people are satisfied, but in your population itself is biased, because here you have the sample in which 60. So we have to be a little careful when we go for this sampling, because if you do not have a representative sample, then you will not be able to generalize the findings of your research based upon the sample to the population, right? But it is not necessary that making generalization to the population is always a goal of your research. It's not necessary. You can also conduct a research when your goal is not to generalize the findings to the population, right? Okay, so assess the diversity of the population. Yes. Now we will, I will share a few tips with you which are important to have a right sample from the population. So the first tip is sampling is unnecessary if all the units in the population are identical. Okay, so if you know that everyone is happy, so then definitely you take any people, number of people from that particular population, you are going to get the same result. So the more, there is a one technical term, it is called as homogeneous. The more homogeneous elements in your population, you need not to worry that much about the sampling. But if there is a lot of diversity in your population, then you have to be very careful about the sampling method. Okay. So that is why we always look for a representative sample, a sample that looks like the population from which it was selected in all respects that are potentially relevant to your study. So looks like exactly like the population, but only thing is that it is less in the numbers in comparison to the population. That is the importance here. And yes, I think this is the same thing it is explaining here. When it is not, when it is unrepresentative, then the characteristics in the population are not same to the characteristics in the sample. So okay, when the characteristics in the sample are not same to the population, then you will be having a sampling bias. So make sure that your sample has the same characteristics as the population. Now, in case you think that for you cannot make any mistake, and you should know that exactly how everyone in that population thinks or they behave, then you have to conduct a census. And that is the difference between a sample based research, and that is the difference between a census based data collection or census based. If you want to collect data from every element of the population, then it will take a lot of time, it will take a lot of money, and you need a lot of people to do the exercise. And that is the reason every country conduct the census in a period of 5 years, 10 years, or maybe 15 years, because that time you will study every element of the population, right? So in social science, especially when you're dealing with the people, most of the time it is not possible to do a census study. So like you study every person related to your research problem, right? It is not possible. So we more often we will do a sample based research. But you should not get confused in case somebody will say ki, what is the difference between a census based study or a sample based study. So census means when you study each and every element in the population and you collect data from each and every one, and then you say, okay, this is the data, and now you can you can tell anything about this particular population. So in that case, you can consider a census-based study. Now we have two types of sampling methods. We have probability sampling methods, and see, some of the people already get very fearful feeling, including me, when we hear the word probability. Okay, so but you need not to fear that much, because we are not going to learn the mathematical probability, though it is a mathematical probability, but we are not going to discuss those numbers in probability. Just we are going to use probability as a scientific method to select a sample. Okay, so, and probability means, in simple term, if we say, it is the chances. We know the chances of happening something. Okay, and probability helps us to predict the chances and to know the chances. Okay, so there is a one sampling method in which, by using a particular approach, we know what are the chances of selecting a of element in that particular sample. Okay, I hope you are able to understand the terms I'm using: sample, element, and population. So let's say if your class is a population, so each student is an element. Okay, so do not get confused with it. In case somebody is not clear, I'm just saying it. Okay, I'm using three words here: sample, element, and population, right? So in the probability sampling method, we know in advance what are the chances of a selection of an element from the population in this sample, right? So it is not a haphazard sampling. Haphazard means okay, यहाँ पे सबसे बड़ा confusion दो words में होता है: random sampling and then other ways of sampling. कि random हम जो common sense में समझते हैं, random मतलब कि कुछ भी ऐसे ही, but here the meaning is not random. इसका मतलब वो random नहीं है कि कोई भी आपने आदमी से कोई डाटा कलेक्ट कर लिया. No, here random means the probability of the selection of that element from the population. So that is called as random. Okay, so this kind of methods are called as probability sampling method, in which we know what are the chances of a selection for an element, and we will discuss this, what are the different methods in this. Now the second method is called as known probability sampling method, because in these methods we do not know in numbers, or technically we do not know what are the chances of a selection of an element from the population when we take the sample. So we don't know the probability here. Is unknown, right? So here it is unknown, and here we know the probability of the selection here. Okay, so now let's discuss this one by one. What are the different probability sampling methods? So we have simple random sampling, we have systematic random sampling, cluster sampling, and then stratified random sampling. And we are going to cover each one of them in little detail, so that in case you are using it, so you can okay, for which type of, okay. Now the important point here is, for you it is important to understand each of this type of sampling, because when you plan your research question, so you are sure for this research question what particular type of sampling method will be appropriate, right? And that is actually the real struggle in the research, and that is why we learn the research methods, to fit a right research question with the right research method, so that your chances of making errors and mistakes will be less, and chances of making your study more reliable and valid will be more. Okay, so that is why we should have an understanding what are the different tools we have in the research, so that when we are planning when we are framing our research question, so we know what are the tools in front of us, right? So now let's discuss one by one. Like first discuss the simple random sampling. So इसको in short में SRM भी बोलते हैं. So SRM, simple random sampling. So simple random sampling, and now here again I'm telling, random doesn't mean haphazard. There is a word called haphazard, right? मतलब कि that is not systematic, but random here means systematic. Okay, so do not go with the common understanding कि मैंने randomly किसी से बात कर ली, right? वो randomly किसी से बात करने का मतलब है कि हमने किसी भी लोग आदमी से बात कर ली, but that random doesn't mean in the sampling here. Okay, so please understand this. क्योंकि बार बार जब आप बोलेंगे ना सिंपल रैंडम सैम्पलिंग, तो आपको क्लिक माइंड में ऑटोमेटिक आएगा कि रैंडम मतलब कि कोई भी किसी से भी डाटा कलेक्ट कर लिया, बट दैट इज नॉट द मीनिंग ऑफ रैंडम हियर. इफ उसके लिए यहाँ पे एक वर्ड होता है जिसको बोलते हैं हैपहैज़ार्ड सैम्पलिंग, मतलब किसी से भी अपने डाटा कलेक्ट कर लिया, उसको बोलते हैं हैपहैज़ार्ड सैम्पलिंग. उस पर भी हम बात करेंगे आगे. सो राइट नाउ लेट्स डिस्कस सिंपल रैंडम सैम्पलिंग. So it is a probability sampling method, and it is, as it is mentioned here, it is a probability sampling method. And how to do it and when to do it. Okay, how to do it, let's discuss it first. To do simple random sampling, first thing is you should have a complete list of the elements of the population, right? So let's say if you want to conduct a study in the Nalanda Academy, right, about the students of Nalanda Academy, so you can request the Anup ki I need a list of all the students in the Nalanda Academy, right? And if once you get the list, so that becomes your population, means all the students in the Nalanda Academy, so that is your population, right? Now what you can do, you can either you can take the help of a software like Excel or any other tool, and you can tell how much is your population. Let's say Nalanda has 500 students. Okay, and you tell ki I and then you decide how much sample size you want. Okay, so let's say you want out of 500 you want 100 sample. Okay, so you tell both these value to the computer ki I have a population of 500 and I need a sample of 100. Okay, so computer will give you automatically some numbers, automatically some numbers, and then you will collect data only from those that number of the students. Like, see, you made a list of the 500 students, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, like you have 500 students like this, right? Every student has been given a unique number. Now to apply the simple random sampling, you have to tell to the computer ki you have a population of the size of 500, you need a sample of 100, then computer will give you 100 random numbers from the from the list of those 500 numbers, and then you will collect data only from those 100 people only, and this method is called as simple random sampling. Now what are the positive thing here? Now positive thing here is, now your data will not be biased because you did not select the respondent, because it is possible ki when I want to get good data, I will select only the students who talk positive about the Nalanda, right? So if I will choose, there is a strong chance that my data will be biased, because I am selecting maybe according to my preference. Maybe I'm selecting only students who are from that particular district, one particular district. So when a human select the respondent, there is a strong chance of interference or the biasness. So to make this sampling more systematic and more scientific, we allow computer to give those numbers, and then we will select data only from those students whose number are given by the computer. Okay, is it a little bit clear for us or not? Is it a little bit clear or not? Okay, okay. So I guess we are making good progress here. So good then. I think there is something is wrong. Just let me check some of the slides here. I think I missed few images here. Okay, I think I should not be much worried about now. Okay, so let's leave it here. So I think I'm not able to get it done, what I was trying to do, but okay. If you are able to understand, that's not a problem. Okay. So now the next part is to talk about systematic random sampling. Okay. So systematic random sampling is actually I kept some pictures so that you can understand it better, but somehow it is not reflecting today, because so far we came very smooth in all the sessions, but somewhere last session has to go wrong. So sorry, it's my fault. I'm not able to control it. Okay. So now systematic random sampling is you do all the steps the way we do in the SRS, simple random sampling. Okay. But now the only thing is like what are the steps you do? You make a list of all the elements in the population, right? And you select the first person randomly, means you take any, let's say from the list of 1 to 500, you select number 3. Okay. Now, after selection of number 3, you put one criteria, or you make the next selection more systematic. Let's say you say after selecting third, now after every fifth element I will select. So 3, and after 3 means 3 plus 5, 8. So now you will select the number 8, and then 8 plus 5, I added 5, right? So 8 plus 5, 11. Then you select 11. Then 11 plus 5, 16. Then you select 16. So, and it's not just plus, you can just select, say any alternative, or you can say 10th number, or you can say 50th number, depending upon what systematic random sampling you want to do. Okay. So in the simple random sampling, all the numbers were given by the computer, and you collected data only from those numbers, right? But in the systematic random sampling, you select the first number randomly as you like. Okay. And after that, for every next selection of the element, you put some systematic method. Like you can say every second person, every third person, every 10th person, every 15th person. And then after that, and then you will collect data only from those respondents. So this is a method which is called as systematic random sampling. So this is also random sampling, but this time you have put some criteria or a systematic criteria of random sampling. Now the next is called as cluster sampling. Okay. Now the cluster sampling, it happens often when your population is very heterogeneous or very diverse, or it is very big. So what you do, so let's say after 10 years, Digital Nalanda has 5,000 students, right? So, and there are so many different schools. So how will you collect data from the 5,000 students, right? Let's say it is very challenging. So what you will do, that every student in Nalanda belongs to one particular school. Like either the person will be from School of Data Science, School of Sociology, School of Economics, School of Critical Thinking, School of Law, right? That belong to any one particular school, right? So now what you do, instead of so what you do, you will get a list of student, but school wise. Let's say here, like this is school 1, school 2, and school 3, right? And now you will do a random selection of those schools, which is called as cluster now, because you have divided your population based on the school, and each school is a cluster now. And now you select the cluster using the simple random sampling. So let's say from these 3 schools, you have selected number 3. Okay, you have selected number 3. So now for this 3 number, you have to again either you can do all data collection from these people, or again you can apply the simple random sampling within this sample. Okay, I think the sample example was not maybe that clear, so let me take another example also. Let's say you want to conduct a study on the population of Maharashtra. Okay. So of course, you will not be able to focus upon each and every part, geographical part of the Maharashtra, right? So what you will do, you will divide Maharashtra into the clusters depending upon what is your research question, right? Let's say if your research question is about the schools in Maharashtra, right? So you can divide whole Maharashtra into the different districts, right? Different districts in Maharashtra. And let's say Maharashtra, I'm just giving a hypothetical number, then Maharashtra has 100 districts. So it means you have 100 clusters in front of you. Now, from now you have to do simple random sampling of these clusters first. So from these clusters, you have to select, like it depends what sample size you are targeting. So let's say if there are 100 clusters, let's say you want to select 30 clusters. So you can again assign one number to one district, and then again you can give that number to the computer, and then computer can give you any 30 numbers, and you should select only those districts for your data collection. And now the data will be less biased because you did not select those districts. The district selection is done by the computer. Okay, so this is called as cluster sampling. And now once you selected the clusters, now there are two ways to go ahead. Either you can do the complete like all the samples in the cluster, you can do the data collection, or again inside the cluster also, let's say in one cluster you have 1000 students. So again, you can conduct simple random sampling on those 1000 students also, and you can select some number which can help you to reach to your sample, and you can conduct again simple random sampling within the cluster also. So first random sampling for the cluster, and second random sampling for sample within the cluster. Okay, is it making some sense? It may be a little confusing, but it is very popular approach, especially when you do PhD works, because you are focusing upon a larger population, and PhDs are usually a big sample size studies, and right. So you have to, and that is the way you give justification why your study results are valid, because you show the approach, how you have collected the data, and how your data is more representative of the population, so that the findings you are showing are more applicable to the population, right? So you should think a lot before going into the field and collecting the data, that what sampling method is appropriate and how much sample size I need, and yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. Do we have any questions? No. Okay. So now the next part is called as stratified random sampling. I'm so sorry. I don't know why some of the pictures are not coming up, and with pictures actually it becomes very clear to understand the things. And I'm so sorry for that. So, why these things are not coming. Okay. 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 Are you able to see this slide? Can someone say? No. Share window in front. Now, are you able to the slide with the pictures? No, right? You are not able to see. Yes, I got it. No. That sharing is post. Bring your shared window to the front. But how? How to bring my shared window to front? Okay, that way. Okay. Resume sharing. Okay. Yes. Can I share multiple screen at a time? I know that, but let me. Why I'm doing all the experimenting in this session? Okay. Let me see. Okay, how to do multiple selections. I want this one, and I hold, shift. Okay, I think this time I should be able to work out. Okay. Okay, now you are able to see some picture. Now, yes. Okay, great. Thank you. So now I'm sharing two screens with you because in one screen things are not coming up properly. So I thought let me see if this I can make full screen. Come on. No. Okay. Okay. So see, now we are talking about the stratified random sampling. Okay. Now in the stratified random sampling, again you will have a list of elements in front of you. Okay, see, in all the probability sampling, the first condition is you should have a list of the elements of the population. In the cluster you need a list of the clusters, right? So and that is why, you know, most of the time in social sciences it's very difficult to apply, you know, exactly in a very rigorous way all the sampling methods. Okay, so but yeah, it is, but it's good to understand at least, you know. Okay, so stratified random sampling is, let's say this is your population. Okay, and you have different kind of people in your population, right? So before selecting the sample, you you separate those elements based upon some feature, and that feature is called as strata. Like here they all are same, but here you see all these are male, which are little older stage like my type. These are female, and these are young people. So it means this population is divided into three stratas: strata 1, strata 2, strata 3, right? And now you will do the simple random sampling. So you will select some people from here, some people from here, and some people from here. Okay. Now, again, it depends what is your research question and what actually you are trying to do, that which sampling method is appropriate for you. Okay. So it depends completely upon that, but it is good to know what are the different scientific options in front of you. If you think that if you divide your population based upon some strata, then your sample collection will be more representative and less biased, then go for it. If you think that cluster is better, then go for cluster. Everything depends what is your research question and what actually you want to achieve. Okay. Okay. Any question till here? Do we have any questions still here? Then we'll go for non-probability sampling method. Any question till here? I'm thinking if I can make it full screen. Okay, we have one question. No. Okay, no questions. Okay. Okay, where can I make it full screen? Yes, I'm able to make it full screen. Good. What is the difference between last two sampling methods? Okay. Okay. See, in the cluster sampling, the cluster is formed based upon a criteria which is naturally available. Like districts are naturally available. You know, you can divide a state into the districts, right? And then you can select your sample from each district. So you are not forming the cluster, or you are not forming the district. Districts are already there, right? So that is the one difference I can say about the cluster and the stratified, right? Let's say another example, you want to study the like car buying behavior of the people in city. Okay, and let's say you selected the city Pune. So if you want to study the car buying behavior of Pune people. So what is the best way to reach the population? One thing is you can target all the showrooms, right? You will go to the showroom and you will talk to the car buying people who are buying the cars. But do you really think that they will share the right feelings? Because they must be very happy buying cars. So they will say everything very good only. So I think showrooms may not be the right place to, take the feedback from the people. Or maybe there is somebody who will find a very wrong car and they may be in a very aggressive mood. So I think the right thing is when people are in their calm zone, it means their homes. So you can find some natural clusters, and which are the housing societies, right? So let's say there are 200 housing societies in Pune. So which are, now you have 200 clusters now, right? 200 housing societies. So you have 200 clusters. Now from those 200 clusters, you select, let's say 50 clusters. And now those 50 clusters, how you will select? By simple random sampling, similar way. Choose any 50 out of 200 through simple random sampling. Okay. And then from those 50, right, now you have those 50 clusters in front of you. Now, and those 50 may be of different sizes of flats and houses. So now either you can go for the complete data collection of the 50 clusters, or if you have less time, then you can again within every cluster, you can do the simple random sampling on every house. So let's say in cluster number 1, houses, so you'll get the 50 flat numbers, and you go and collect data only from those 50 people and not from other 150. So that is how cluster works. But in strata, you divide the population based upon a feature, which you select, right? In elements which you select, like you want to separate them based upon the age, you want to separate them based upon the gender, you want to separate them based upon an education. Okay, and you create that strata. Actually, I think that is the difference. I hope it is making some sense here. No? Okay. Was it helpful a little bit? I think the question was from LK. Okay, LK. I hope it is not Lal Krishna Advani. So, okay. Okay. Right. So now these are all the methods which are called as the probability sampling methods. And these methods ensure that your data will be more representative and less biasness, because you are using probability and you are giving equal chance to every element in the population, to be part of your study, right? You are not biased, but like you say, okay, no, I want to study this thing only. So you are not doing that. So that is the one pro thing with the probability sampling method. But in the sometimes situation, or sometimes our research problem doesn't allow us to do a probability sampling method. So in that case, we have another tools which is called as non-probability sampling methods. It is called as availability sampling, quota sampling, purposive sampling, and snowball sampling. So let's discuss these sampling methods now. So convenience and availability sampling is, as the name suggests, you have your questions in front of you, and you just go to the first person you meet most easily, and you say, please give me the data related to these questions, and your data collection is done, right? So, and now you can yourself tell how accurate that data will be, because you are just being very convenient, and you are finding the most available people to you for the data collection. Okay, so but in some situation, or maybe for some research problems, like the issue is very common. So let's say you want to do a research about hair fall and the shampoo, okay, or the hair fall and the self-consciousness. Okay, I am suffering from hair fall, so I think that example came automatically. So yeah, but if the issue is very common and people can relate with it easily, so I think there is no harm even conducting a convenience sampling or an availability sampling. But again, you have to give a justification, why did you choose, this particular sampling method, right? And you also there is one method also called as mall intercept method. The people standing in the mall or the shopping area, and they just stop you and they say, okay, can you please fill this questionnaire for me, right? That method is also part of the convenience or the availability sampling. Now the next method is called as the quota sampling. Okay, in the quota sampling, now what happens, you again, you will select the people. Okay, you will select the people, you go personally and select the people, but you have some particular quota in your brain as per your research question, and you will select only those people. Okay, again, you are going physically and contacting people, calling people, requesting people, but this time you have some particular criteria, and based upon that only you will you will say, okay, you should fill my questionnaire. Like in this case, you want to have a quota of male who are above 50, right? So you are not collecting data from female, you are not collecting data from every male, you are collecting data from male who are above 50. So everyone in your sample should be now male above 50. So you set this quota. Okay, so if you are using this kind of sampling, still it is a non-probability, but you have one parameter in your brain, and based upon that you are selecting the sample. It is called as a quota sampling. Now the next thing is called as the purposive sampling. Okay, now in the purposive sampling, you as a researcher has some particular criteria to select that person, right? And based upon that purpose only, you select that particular sample. Let's say in this population we have this black, we have this black male, black female, and then this white male, and then this gray male, right? White female. But I think based upon your research purpose, you think that you need to talk only with the black people. So that is why you did not select anybody else, but you select only the black female and the white male. Oh, sorry, black male. Okay. So again, the purpose of your research also defines what samples actually you are looking for. So I think purposive and quota, they look a little bit similar, but they are not exactly, because quota could be some criteria just to filter the sample, but purposive is more related to what is your research purpose, and focusing upon that purpose, you are selecting you are selecting your sample. Now the next is called as snowball sampling. Actually, I put a lot of effort bringing all these pictures here, and this stupid slide was not showing there in all these pictures. So I thought I need to find some way because it helps to understand. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So now the last part is called as snowball sampling. Snowball sampling is like, let's say you talk with the first person, and then you ask the first person, can you help me to find the similar people, right? And then that person will give you reference of 2 more people. And then again, you ask those 2 people, can you give me a reference of 2 more people? And then you go to those 2 people. So this way, when you increase your sample size, this method is called as snowball sampling. Okay. And why do we have these different methods? Because depending upon what kind of a research issue you are dealing with, maybe one particular research problem, method is appropriate for you. Let's say one example. Let's say in the case of snowball sampling, you are conducting a research upon the snowball sampling ke liye, like what would be good way? I'm trying to give you something better. Yeah, let's say some car examples are coming today. So let's say you want to conduct a research about luxury car purchase. So of course, a person who is having Harley Davidson or a person having a Mercedes, definitely he will also be having a friend circle where people are having Mercedes or BMW type cars. Of course, there are more chances. So of course, you can take the reference, and in that case, snowball sampling will be a better method for you. One Mercedes owner to next Mercedes owner to next Mercedes owner. The better method will be snowball sampling, right? So according to your research problem and question, you need to find an appropriate, sampling method. So, and I think these are the different methods which are in front of you, so which we discussed. So if you have any questions so far, please ask me, or we will start quantitative methods and analysis. Sorry. Okay. So for quota sampling, so as it say, are selected to ensure that the sample represents certain characteristics in proportion to their prevalence in the population. Okay. So let's say one example of quota sampling is can we take the example of this bald people only? Let's go with that only. Key. Let's say if you want to, you have a, I would say, you have a list of the people or the people whom you want to study. You want to filter them based upon one particular criteria. And okay, so the first criteria is the person should be having active hair fall, like all these people are having. Second criteria is they all should be male. Okay, so you just looking for the people who fit to these two criteria. Okay, who fit to these two criteria, and then you are trying to talk only with those people who fit to this criteria. Okay, I think that could be one example of the quota. Amol More, sir, what if both males and female of a particular age group are selected from a particular population? Is it still quota sampling? See, this criteria you have to set according to your research problem. If your research problem says you want to study both male and female, right? Then of course in your quota sample you will also have male and female both, right? So see, the quota is depending upon what criteria you put according to your research question. If your research question say no, you want to focus only on the male above 50, then you will take only male who are above 50 and not the female. So it is not like a fixed criteria. These criteria are set by you as a researcher, based upon your research problem. Okay. Okay. If we do not have any more question, okay. Do we have one more question? Okay. Mogesh. Okay. So let's go for now about the quantitative. Sorry. Okay. Now let's go for the quantitative analysis. I hope now slides are running okay or not. See, now they are running okay. I don't know what was the problem, but still some pictures are coming, some are not coming. I hope now pictures are there or not there. Okay, now they're there. Okay, good. Okay, so now let's discuss quantitative methods and analysis. And of course, they will not be the, yeah, maybe it is uploaded now. Yeah, maybe internet was slow because today I had a back-to-back meetings and internet may be getting exhausted. Yeah. Okay, so let's discuss the quantitative methods and what some basic analysis. I will discuss very basic things here, and definitely we have very less time. So 1 hour we have. So I think half an hour for quantitative, half an hour for qualitative, and we will close the things. Okay. So now in quantitative research, most often we do the survey research. Okay, and by survey research means we prepare some standard questions, right? We either print them or in the form of online, and then we collect data from a sample of individuals, right? Now, whether maybe probability sampling or non-probability sampling, but we will get that questionnaire filled by a sample. right? So most often in the quantitative, we do the survey research. And survey research designs can be done like mail survey, means like you can send people a questionnaire by post. I think rarely we do that now, but still in some cases, if you have a lot of money and people, and or your organization think that mail is the best way, you can send them by post. Or you can also conduct phone survey, like you call the people and then you ask their responses and then you tick yourself on the questionnaire, right? Or you can have in-person surveys, like you meet the samples in the field or in particular situation or or offices, or you fix some place and then you meet them, but you collect data firsthand in front of the person. There is a respondent, you, and either you give survey to the person and allow him to fill it, or you will fill on his behalf. Okay. Now the second thing is electronic web surveys, which are very, very famous today, or electronic survey, web survey. Like we all use Google Forms, and often we get in our WhatsApp group, please help me in my data collection, and this is my Google form. And right, so these are the some survey design methods which people use. And in recent times, like one example is Survey Monkey. It is a free platform up to an extent, up to some questions on respondents. They allow you to conduct free surveys using Survey Monkey. And Google Form, I think, is the most popular one. So next is once you conduct survey-based data collection, the next thing comes in front of you is a statistic. Okay, so statistic is a number-based description of some features of the variables. Okay, let's say there is a variable called as age in your data. Then you can use a statistic method, let's say mean, and you can say the mean age or the median age of the sample which you collected is this. Okay, so statistic are the numerical descriptions of your variables which help you, to understand your sample which you got from the population. Now in statistic also you have two types of statistics: descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Okay, descriptive statistics usually is limited to give you an numerical output, right? And it helps you to understand the variable. And like most often when you give the demographic profile, right, or descriptive analysis of the variables, those variables like mean, median, standard deviation, all these are called as the descriptive statistics, because these values are calculated as it is from the variables. Okay, and now inferential statistics these are the estimated value, or you can say also the predicted values, right? So inferential statistics, like the p-value we have, p-value of the hypothesis testing it is inferential statistics. So statistics used to estimate how likely it is that a statistical result based on data from a random sample is representative of the population from which the sample is assumed to have been selected. Okay, it will blast your brain, so better just and go with the basic thing. Descriptive statistics actually do not allow you to predict or estimate. These are just the calculations from the variables. Inferential statistics, like you have the regression value, you have the p-values, these are the estimates and the estimates from the sample about the population. Okay, these are called like Z value we have, T value we have. I was stopping myself not to say those names, because in case there are something called as T values, P values, and what is called standard error values. All those called as inferential statistics, because that statistics, those numbers help you, like those numbers are about the sample, but they help you to understand how representative your sample numbers are of the population. Okay, so that is how statistics values go: descriptive and inferential. Now in your research, you can just limit it to the descriptive statistics also, just percentages, just show the percentages or the basic mean and standard deviation, or you can combine the descriptive and inferential, right? So it depends what is your scope of the research. But that if you are not doing inferential statistics, that doesn't mean your research is waste. There is a lot of descriptive statistics which is also very important, to understand the situation, because they describe with a large number of large data, right? Now the next, okay, now next thing is, yeah. Now I'm telling you a few things which are very important when you do the quantitative analysis. The first thing is called as data cleaning. Okay. But that doesn't mean you take your computer and wash it. Never do it. Keep water very, very away from your laptop. Okay. Don't do that. Never take the risk. Okay. Data cleaning means when you collect the data, your data will have, and certainly all data will have some sort of errors. Sometimes we can type the value wrongly. Sometimes your respondents can enter the value wrongly, right? So you need to make sure your data which you have entered into the computer, or you have entered in a file and file given to the computer, is error free. There is no error in your data entry values. Computer is reading the values which you want it to be read. Okay, so that is very, very important. And if it is not, you have to clean the data so that that the computer is reading what actually you want the data to be. Okay, and it is a very data science related term, because nobody do the cleaning manually. Like आदमी पागल हो जाएगा अगर उसके सामने 500 लोगों का डाटा रख दे और बोले कि भैया एक एक सैंपल एक एक वेरिएबल चेक करो, right? Now that is why the tools like Python, R, as they become very popular recently, because they allow you, to do the data cleaning very fast. Okay, very fast doesn't mean ki you need not to learn. Of course, once you learn, you can do it very fast. Yes. So another part of data cleaning is called as the missing values. Most of the time, our data have missing values because, again, sometimes it is a technical glitch. Some number is missing, maybe one variable it did not record at all. So what will you do? Or like one good advice is, for sensitive question, you should never force your respondent to answer. Or for some sensitive option, your respondent did not answer. So there is a missing value, right? There could be several reasons for the missing value, but the point is the data value is not there. Now, what will you do with that? Okay, so now whether you will not consider the whole data, or you will replace those missing value with some estimated value. Now there are some methods even to estimate the missing values. So, but I'm not going into that, but I'm just making you aware that whenever you start the data analysis, quantitative data analysis, especially, you have to take care of these steps. Number one, there are no errors with the name of the variables, data entry. There should not be missing values, because even some softwares, they show error if there is a missing value. Now, the third thing is outlier. There is one term called as outlier in quantitative research. The outlier means this is an exceptionally high or low value in your data. Let's say you know that all your respondents must be from the age of 23 to 43. But suddenly you saw there is somebody like 230 years. It means either there is somebody very old person in your sample size, or it is a technical mistake, right? So it means it is an error. It is not, still it is not an outlier. But let's say your research says, I want to focus upon the young people. Young people means above 18, less than 25. But you found somebody has also answered the survey who is of the age of 45. Then your target sample is 18 to 25, but you have a one person whose age is 45. So that particular person is an outlier, because based upon the criteria of your research, there is one value which is exceptionally high. Is it making sense? So you need to find out these problems in the very starting, because if you found something like this, in the advanced stage of your analysis, so you have to redo the whole analysis, and nobody want to redo the whole thing. Okay, so take care of these points when you're doing the data cleaning tasks. Okay, now let's go a little bit about the descriptive statistics. Like in the descriptive statistics, one of the statistics is called as the central tendency. And why it is called as central tendency? Because it will give you one single value answer which represents the whole data. And that single answer value could be mean, median, and mode values. And of course, I'm not going to teach you how to do that, but I'm just telling you, just introducing you what are the things which you required in case you are doing quantitative analysis, right? So you need to report in your results central tendency value of the variables. Now it depends which variable it is. Like age, we should generally report in the form of median, and other variables you can report in the form of mean. So there is no issue with that. Now, next thing, important thing which you should report is called as variability. Variability means how much variation is in your data. Okay, and now you see, if there is no variation is in your data, then your data is of no use. Okay, but now that doesn't mean the variation is so much so that there is a person from India also, person from Africa also, a person from America, for France also. So you cannot match those, right? So you need a variation in your data, but the variation which you can explain, right? And to understand how much variation is in your data, we have a term called as standard deviation. So whenever you report mean, same time you also have to report the standard deviation, right? So so first thing about the one value representation of the variable, then how much variation in the data of that variable is represented by the standard deviation. And of course, I'm not telling you how to calculate it, because it is easy to calculate them using the tools, of course, but interpretations are more important. Yes. Then the third thing which you have to take care is called as skewness. Okay, yeah, it looks like a deadly disease, and yes, it is a disease when you talk about the data, right? So skewness is when in your variable the responses, the value, the answers to your question are spatially biased towards one side, right? So let's say, are you able to see this dotted line, okay, here? So your data should be like this. Actually, this is called as normal distribution, right? So 50% this side, 50% this side. But sometimes most of the people, they are choosing the answers this side. Like say, these are the interval from 1 to 5. So most of the people are choosing the responses on the lower side. So your data have lots of entries or the responses on that particular variable on the negative side. Okay, so this data is called as negatively skewed. And why it is called as skewed? Because it is not normally distributed. Because what we expect from our data collection is that our data should be normally distributed like this. Because most of our, there is another deadly thing with the statistics which is called as assumptions. Or economic students can better understand, without assumptions, we rarely run anything in the statistics, right? So assumption. So to apply regression, hypothesis testing, mean, median, standard deviation, we assume our data is normally distributed. And if it is not, we forced it to be, because there are statistical tests to do that. But we try to get as much as possible normally distributed data. But it is possible your data will not be normal. So one problem could be it is negatively skewed, or it could be positively skewed when the data entry values on that particular variable are more towards the higher side. Let's say it is on the scale of 1 to 5, then so many people have taken values 4 and 5 only, 4 and 5 only, so many people. So the positive is very, very heavy. So this is called as positive skewed. And that is why whenever you start the analysis, the first thing which you should do is called as the visualization. Make graphs of your each and every variable and see the pattern of distribution of each variable. And visually, you can see whether your data is normally distributed or not. Okay. And that is why I strongly recommend to all of you, become master of any one good analysis tool. Now you do this survey, which tool is good for as per your discipline, what your colleagues are using, what your professors are using, and check what they are using, whether it is future oriented or not. So become a master of that. So the first thing what you do is start with the data visualization. After cleaning the data, visualize the data. The first basic charts you make are the bar chart and the histogram. Bar chart is for the nominal variables and histogram is for all other variables. You can make it. After that, you can make the what is called as QQ graph, or also called as correlation plot. So you can make those to find the relationship between two variables, right? I'm going little, Shatabdi train express, so you can stop me anywhere because I'm just thinking to close everything today. That's why. So in case you did not follow anything, please stop me. Huh? So the next thing you can do in the quantitative research is find correlation between the two variables, and you can find whether they are associated with each other or not. Okay, and this value is represented by R, and the next step of the correlation is called as the causal effect, because a causal effect allows you to predict whether one variable is the reason behind causing the another variable. But the condition is first they should be correlated, and then you do the test of the causal effect, right? But do not confuse correlation and causal and causation or causal effect. They're completely different. If two variables are correlated, it is not necessary they are causing each other. But if two variables are having cause and effect relationship, then definitely they should have a correlation effect also. So that is important. So yes, I was on a super speed. So I think we still have 30 minutes, and I think I should be able to complete qualitative also. But before that, I will take few questions. Like whatever we discussed, I was able to give some important concept summary. So I think if you have any questions on that, you can please ask the questions, and then we will go to the qualitative research methods and analysis. Okay, no question. So it means हम कुछ भी नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, या everything is going okay? Are things going okay a little bit? Can you please suggest some good courses for data visualization? I can tell you the platform, Latika. Like Coursera, you can try. There must be some good courses to learn about the data visualization. See, more than course, the important is the tool. Do some searching of a tool, which tool are preferred in your particular discipline. That is more important, because most of the tool they have their own plus and minus. So which tool is having more plus for your discipline, find that one. Like I use Tableau. Yes, of course, Tableau is one important tool for data visualization. Most of the organizations use it, and yes, it has several positive things with it. But again, I suggest you see what people use in your domain area, right? Maybe Tableau we hear every day and then we think it is a good tool, but when you join a job related to your discipline and nobody is using it, then maybe you have to switch your tool, right? So do little research now only in your discipline, what are the preferred tools, and try to learn those only. So you are in hospital domain, like what do you do in hospital domain? Like, are you a hospitality management, or like what area do you take care, like? Or are you in the data analysis of as an analyst, or like? Okay, Modish has a question, sir. Actually, I have been through this stats part, so this speed is okay for me. Okay, great. Thank you, Modish. So yeah, Latika, what part of the hospital do you take care? Like, yeah, are you doctor? Are you planning to in that field or like how? You're pursuing masters in hospital administration administrator. Okay. Okay. Mhm. Because see, now one thing is every organization has like earlier, every organization used to have a research department. Now, now it has become a very compulsory for every organization to have a data science department because they have website, they have an app, and they all organizations want to know how their customers interact and how they use their services so they can understand their customers better, right? So in your particular, let's say now in the hospital administrator also, what role are you looking for? Like you want to do research in that, or you want to become the part of a organization? So because then only I can tell you better actually. But I know Tableau is one of the famous platform for doing visualizations. Yes, planning to go for data analytics, right? Now uh, okay, so let's talk with Latika first. Modish, just one second. So now you're saying data analytics and hospital, right? So now data analytics and hospital, definitely you will not be going with the what do you say, what to say, like images of like body imagining or the medicine related, because you do not have that kind of training. So you are going more maybe as a administrator and the analytics. Then of course now your task is search some of the organizations which are in the healthcare, right, and see what data science tools they recommend and how to find it. Go and search their latest job offerings and see in that particular job offering what kind of requirements they have if they are recruiting for a data science person. Okay, I think that is the best way to find what tool you should learn if you are in the particular domain. Find some top healthcare companies, see what latest under their recruitment, whether LinkedIn or in their profile, and find out what requirements they in their advertisement they require when they are looking for a job role which you are looking for. I think then you can plan your tool, which tool you should learn. Right. So Modish Askan sir, this was discussed in digital Nalanda also in digital science lecture saved in public also. Okay, great. Modish is helping you here. Yeah. Priyanka has question. I always thought what is use of mean, median, mode, and other item we studied in statistics, but now I know. Thank you. Okay, Priyanka. I wish I had more time. And definitely in this is just starting of our interaction. In future I will come back with some more dedicated courses, like a special course for statistics, just a special course for data visualization, because just now we started partnership with Anup. So I think in future we'll have more better courses, so yeah. So don't give up, we have lots of resources and lots of time in future, so we can learn more. So I think we can start the qualitative methods now. Okay, so with your permission, let's start the last topic of our this course, qualitative methods and analysis. And as you can see in this picture, qualitative method is more about the words. You talk with the people in person, maybe with single person or a group of the people, and then you interview them as a group or maybe single, and you document that interview, and then those documents, you do the analysis, you find the themes, patterns in the words, in the statements, and that will become your results of your research, right? So that is the crux of the qualitative methods and analysis. And now let's go in detail and find a little more about it. Okay, so qualitative methods such as participant observation, there is some participant and you are just observing the person, observing the person. So you are not asking any question, but you are just observing them. So let's say you are a child psychologist and you want to learn about the learning habits of a kid. So of course a kid cannot give you an interview to you until unless you force them. but you can just watch the kid, how they pick the things and how they play with the toys, and then you can write the research based upon just the observation of the participant. Okay. Another reason could be you want to write about a disease, let's say Alzheimer disease, where people forget the things, and you want to see their observation, and you just observe them, what they do, how they make things better for them when they know that they are going to forget the things. So again, you can just observe, but only thing is that you have to be extra careful that you will not cross the an ethical boundary. You cannot interfere so much in their life so they feel you are just taking my life away from me. That should not happen. Like, you cannot put that kid or that patient in a special situation just to find the research results for you. That should not be done. And that is why most of the Western countries, you have to get a proper ethical committee approval for your research before conducting your research, and you have to give in detail your methods, so that you can say so that you make sure you are not crossing the ethical boundary anywhere. Okay. So first method is called as participant observation. Second is called as intensive interviewing. Okay. Based upon your research problem, it requires you have to conduct an intensive interview with the participant. Now, in this case, let's say you want to talk with the college going students, like bachelor students, and you want to understand like if they are facing any caste based discrimination. So you can have an extensive in detail interview with some selected people with who either already reported it or experienced those kind of extreme what do you say experiences. So then you can have an intensive interview. One more method is called as focus group. In focus group, you don't do one-on-one interview, but it is a group of people who are aware what you are trying to do, and they are the right people to answer that. So you ask the questions, you allow people to discuss about that question, and you document their complete dialogues, you document complete their argument, and you can also lead the argument. But I think the good focus group is when you just watch it and observe it as a moderator, and you don't lead it, right? You can come once in a while, ask your question, and then again you see how people answer each other about that particular question. This is called as focus group method, or also called as FGD, focus group discussion, right? So these are the some methods that are designed. Now the next part is that are designed to capture social life, that are captured to find social life as participants experience it, rather than in categories the researcher predetermines. Okay. So now the difference is, in the quantitative research, you already framed the questions, right? And the respondent is now do not have that much freedom to express their views and opinions, because you already have the questions, you also have already the answers. Only the person has to select from those, right? But in the case of qualitative, you have some very broad questions, and the respondent is free to answer as per their own personal experiences. So I hope you are able to make a very big difference here between the quantitative and the qualitative method. Now the next part is, in qualitative method, most of your research questions are exploratory. Now exploratory research means the concept is underdeveloped or completely unstudied. The people have no idea what you are going to get as a result, because you could not find any other example or a similar research like this. So qualitative research is very ideal when you know it will be. So if your research question is exploratory and your supervisor also agree with you, because only you should not say ki my question is exploratory, I did not find any other research, my research is the first research, because we all are very happy to say every time this कि मेरे जैसा काम किसी ने नहीं किया है, right? So do not fast decision it. Take proper guidance from your research and supervisor and your guiding committee. And when they say, yes, really your research question is the exploratory question, and I think you should go for the qualitative method, then only you should go for it. Okay. Now, the next important part with qualitative method is human subjectivity, right? See, you know that here a person can give you answer anything, right? So a lot of human subjectivity is involved here. So you cannot control the answers of the respondent. So you have to be more careful what actually you should include in the results and what you should not, right? So that is why often qualitative research requires more experience, more rigorousness, right? But because here you can make very easy conclusions, right? You can make very easy conclusion. That's why qualitative research is somewhat challenging, because it can easily get influenced because of the human subjectivity here. Now, the next thing is, let's say one example of qualitative research method is ethnography. You must have heard about it. It is a method of conducting a qualitative research. And what you do in ethnography is you study and systematic recording of human culture. You like one particular, like based upon your research question, you become part of one particular human culture and you systematically study it and record it, right? And then based upon your being part of that culture, you report the results of your study, right? And ethnography studies are, the field work is quite long, like maybe you're part of that culture for year or 2 year, and then based upon your complete notes or the videos or the interviews, all the documentation which you have done during those 2 years or 1 year, you produce your result in front of the people. Okay, I was part of this human culture, and you see these are their practices. So this type of qualitative research method is called as ethnography. Now, next is, as I discussed, in qualitative research, we also have participant observation. Now, participant observation can be of 3 types. Okay, like the first one is like this example is, some people are doing hair protest, and you are just observing them from the distance, and then you are writing the results. So that is also possible. Okay, see how police charged them, what were their slogans, who were part of the protest, different things you can tell, right? Now, next part also you can do, you can say, okay, see, you are for these rights, I am also for these rights. Now, can you please tell me why are you doing the protest? So you try to increase your connection with the respondent, right? So you just say, I care about climate change, you also care about climate change. So let's have an interaction. Can you allow me to observe you? Right? So that is also one possibility. Now, the third possibility, which is, very active observation, you become part of the process. You also start doing the, protest, you also just become one of them. And then later you write, your results or your essay based upon your complete experience of that activity, right? So all these what do you say, options are in front of you. Now, depending upon what research issue you are dealing with and how extreme you can go to conduct, find, or to experience that issue closely, it depends upon you. Now, let's say I have a friend in JNU, he is conducting research about the prostitutions. Okay, so now if you think now which category and is more appropriate for you, how extreme you can go, to understand their situation and then write about it, is your choice. Okay, of course it is your choice, but your choice has to be passed by the ethical committee and your supervisor. You cannot say that I am the master and I am doing whatever I want to do. No, your supervisor and the ethical committee should pass your method. Yes, this is the best method to find this research gap, and then you should go ahead with it. Okay, so depending upon the issue you are dealing with, you have to take any one particular approach. Now next is called as intensive depth interview. Okay, now there are some issues, like I talked earlier also about the domestic violence, and again the caste discrimination. Maybe people do not open up about the caste discrimination, gender violence, or the domestic violence when they talk, in front of the other colleagues or the friends or in a group. There are some issues, or let's say child sex abuse, or the child abuse. People, it is very intimate, but it is very important part. We should study it. It should be studied, but rarely people open up about it. So you have to done an extensive interview, but that doesn't mean you trick the person. No, you have to tell very clearly what you want, what information you want. The only thing is that it takes time, so that the person can trust you, can connect with you, and you sit with that person 1 hour, then 1 more hour, then 1 more hour, and then maybe you will get different stories how that particular thing happened with them. So it is also one very important part of qualitative research methods, which is called as intensive depth interviewing. Next, as I discussed, focus groups. For some issues, yes, it is very okay to be discussed in a group, or people can give better answers when it is discussed in group, right? So now again, it depends upon what is your research question, what are you trying to prove. So let's say you launched a new product from your company, and it is a catch-up, right? So I think it is a catch-up is a very normal thing, and people can talk about it in front of others, and they can say very boldly and clearly, I like the sour taste, and I like this coloring, and I like this packaging. So it depends what issue is in front of you, and accordingly you can choose a method. So focus group, again, in general, focus group should be of the size of 8 to 12, not less than 8 and not more than 12 people. Otherwise, it will become very difficult for you, to conduct it. Average length of any focus group should be like minimum 45 minutes, and not more than 70 minutes. 70 minutes is more than enough. So these are the just some rough guidelines I can say, because I conducted it. So I'm little okay with focus group discussions, how actually do it. And be a moderator. Do not try to bias the responses. Do not feed the words to the people. Let them argue, let them interact. You are just the moderator, watching it and documenting it. And all the interviews, all the focus group, make sure that your equipments are working properly. पता चल रहा आपका इंटरव्यू खत्म हो गया और रिकॉर्डिंग ही नहीं हुई. So double check कि आपके रिकॉर्डर्स, वीडियो रिकॉर्डर्स आर वर्किंग परफेक्टली ओके, क्योंकि आप सेम टाइम में सारे नोट्स नहीं बना सकते हो. तो डेफिनेटली वी ऑलवेज ट्राई की वी record that with the permission, with the permission of the participant. Never ever do anything without the permission of the participant, नहीं तो आपको जेल भी हो सकती है. So it is an illegal thing if you do any activity related to the data without the permission of the respondent or the participant. It is very, very important. So we are going to hit our 100th slide. So yes, century. So yeah. So now let's discuss a little bit about the qualitative data analysis part, right? So you can do qualitative analysis on the text, like I was saying, words. You can do the qualitative analysis of the pictures, like I was reading. It is called as visual sociology. You have the pictures in front of you of the different eras, and then you write it from the sociological perspective. So, and yeah, these are the some techniques which you can use, like text coding, or the, I really don't know what is oral. I just missed it. And then pictorial that I know, you take the pictures and you try to frame a story around it. Now the next, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Now let's discuss some important steps when you go for the analysis of the qualitative data. So the first step is documentation of the data and data collection. So make sure that your interview is getting recorded, right? And once you have done the recording of that, you transcribe that recording yourself, because I asked this question myself कि it is a very clerical job कि मैं वो dialogue फिर से सुनूं, फिर से पूरा type करूं. So most of the researchers told कि सी वो line किस context में कही गई थी, you can write it better because you were there in the interview. अगर वो आप किसी और को outsource करेंगे, तो maybe the person can miss that, emphasis, or the miss that emotion from there, right? तो it is good कि जो moderator हो interview का वही transcription भी करे. And transcription means converting those dialogues into a written document, right? That is called as transcription, right? And those read documents जो फिर वो बनते हैं, those are called as the transcripts, okay? And those transcripts you give to the softwares, and then you do the analysis of those words actually. So the next part is, and when you give that transcripts to the computer, you do the conceptualization and coding. Now conceptualization and coding means you read the transcripts with the help of the software, and let's say you read first two lines and you think these lines are reflecting idea X. So you select them with one particular color and you code them as X. Then you read further. Then you see, okay, these lines are saying idea Y. Okay. And then you color code it and then you code it as Y. You read it further. Then you say, okay, these ideas are again talking about X. Then you again use the same color of the X. You write the code X. So now you have two ideas about X and one idea about Y. This is how you find themes and concepts by making and creating themes in the Word documents. It's like a word map. So there are so many statements in front of you. You find the similar words, similar statements, giving them one themes and codes, and then you see how those codes and themes are supported by the statements of your respondents, right? And yeah, that is the third step. You find the relationship between that X, Y, Z, and how many themes are developed from all those interviews. All those interviews, how many themes are developed. You try to find the relationship between all those themes. Okay, do we have next? Yes. Authenticating conclusions by evaluating alternative explanations, disconfirming evidence, and searching for negative cases. Now see, at the end, you have to write the conclusions, and you have to tell why your results are the right results and why you got those particular answers. So you have to self-contradict yourself. If you got these particular results, why, and why not something else? So I think it will take some practice to get it done, but I can just make you aware. And the last step is the reflexivity. It means now you have to give your perspective on those statements, right? And which is the very, very important thing. Now, what you think about these codes, right? So you have to reflex and you have to give your own interpretation also, all the themes which were developed from the interview of the respondents, which is called as reflexivity. Now, I'm just sharing with you one screenshot of one software which I found on the internet. I'm not using it, of course. So it is called as computer assisted qualitative data analysis, or CAQDS. In short, it is CAQDA. It is called as CAQDA, computer assisted qualitative data analysis. So what will you do? Like this, see this text you will give to the software, right? And see, you have the different interviews here. Interview this, and all are having different references or the words. And you select here, and then you give them, color coding or a coding as a word. And then you actually, you make a sense between all those themes and the codes actually, right? Oof, yeah, that is what we do here. So yeah, I will take some questions, so don't worry. Yeah, and these are the references for all the things which we have talked so far, and I updated them on the slides also, so you need not to worry much about it. So I think okay, first let me take some questions from you. I really don't know what is the name of that software, because I used in R, and it is called as RQDA. So I use that one. So I really have no idea what is that software is. So I really have no idea, but I just want to show the process, how it looks like. That's why I just included this. Okay. So yeah, some questions about the qualitative research. Yes. If you have some questions about qualitative research, please.
Hello. So can you hear me?
Yes, Modesh, please.
Uh, sir, my question is, sir, actually I wanted to conduct interview in my research. As I was saying, I wanted to do mixed method research because most of the literature and the book, particularly I read for this, was suggesting that I should go for mixed method. So I was thinking that in the first stage I should go for qualitative part, and in that I would extract some factors and then I will apply the quantitative by analyzing them. So for first part, I am thinking that I will uh, I will go for through literature or
मोदिश
through.
आपकी आवाज थोड़ी सी वाइब्रेट हो रही है, आप थोड़ा सा
Hello,
माइक में बोलिए प्लीज। हाँ जी।
hello.
यस यस।
So I was thinking that I will extract those factor or themes through the documents and through interview. So, sir, for interview, is it okay in the first part that five or six interviewers are okay, or should we go for more?
This is a question which is related to the sample size in qualitative research, and which is very important. कि
Yes, sir.
like in the quantitative we know we like quantitative research say कि 30 is the right sample, minimum 30 होने चाहिए, उसके ऊपर
Mhm.
जितने भी हो the larger is the better
Mhm.
answer.
Sir, yeah, for that there is a formula, and the when population becomes normally distributed,
Yes.
that is, yeah, that's okay. But here in qualitative, in first stage, what should we do?
Yes. So in the qualitative research, if you want to make sure whether you have reached to the right sample or not, there is a concept which is called as saturation. Okay.
Okay,
By
okay.
saturation means when you conduct interviews, let's say you conducted first interview and you got some ideas. You heard them, okay, nice. Then you went for the second, then you went for third, then you went for fourth. After some interviews, you think that now ideas are just repeating and you're not getting any new idea. Okay. So
Mhm.
as soon as, let's say you conducted 4 interviews and fifth interview, you got the repetition, sixth also you
Mhm.
got the repetition, just stop at the
Mhm.
sixth. So you can just mention in your research कि at the sixth interview, I reached to the saturation point where no more new ideas were coming from the respondent side. So this is the justification for the sample size in the qualitative research.
Okay, sir. Is there a way to prove that this is the saturation,
No, there is
or
no way.
just the
No,
experience
no, no,
only?
no, no. That is why I mentioned qualitative research has a huge subjective, human subjectiveness.
Okay.
So yes, that is why yes, qualitative research has a huge human subjectiveness. So you could be completely wrong also. इसीलिए हर रिसर्च सुपरविजन में की जाती है, so that you can tell your doctoral committee members, your supervisor कि now I'm not getting new ideas, see these are the limited ideas, then they can see कि yes, new ideas are not coming, so you can stop there. That's it.
Sir, actually, I wanted to support it with the documentation of of that organization, and then interview. So it will be a both.
No, see, I don't know what actually you're trying to do, but I'm just telling you in qualitative research, the only way for the justification of sample size is the saturation point. After how many interviews you reach to the saturation of the ideas.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Manish. Okay.
And
Any other
sir,
question?
sir,
Yes.
is this finished now, sir? How can we contact you, sir? Is it possible
Yes,
to
we will
reach
come to
out to
that
you?
part. Yes, yes. One second. We'll come to that part. Let me just take
Okay,
some questions now if someone has some questions. Yeah.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Others, if you have some questions about qualitative or the topics which we covered. Okay, I guess no question. So are there any questions? No. Okay. So I think so I'm just I am personally very happy. So I think I will just stop this session with the quoting Ambedkar Sahab definitely. He see as a student, I will just say ki educate yourself, educate others, and of course be agitate and organize. These are the three golden words I also try to follow from Baba Sahib as much as possible. And I would like to thank to the whole team of Digital Nalanda and to Anup 1, Anup 2, and Sapna for sharing the links with me and doing all the help with the sessions. And definitely to all the students, it was really, really very fun to teaching all of you. And if anyone of you would like to speak something, so you are welcome. And yeah, so I think we can interact a little bit. If some of you want to share a few words about the whole course, so anyway, we are 10 people here. So in case you want to share a few words, so you are welcome. So we have here Aditi here, Amol here, Harpreet here, Priyanka, Rohit, Siddhanta, Sonali. Anyone would like to speak few words about your whole journey of this course? Aditi, okay, you wanted to know about R, how can I introduce myself to it? Okay, one way, Aditi, is because I will be teaching R at the end of January, and it will be from my office, actually, Vishkarma University. So I think I will share the flyer with Anup. So I think you can be in touch and with Anup, and he will definitely circulate so that you can, you can start with that at least. Yeah. Or there are a lot of tutorial on YouTube as well. You can just start from there.
Hello.
Yes, Rohit, please speak.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi, sir. Jai Bhim, sir.
yeah, Bim.
Hello. Yeah, extra. It was very much informative. I personally I learned a lot about the research methodology, and I am one of those people who was from the first class till now.
Thank
And
you.
actually, I learned a lot about the research
Okay.
methodology, and I hope it will help me for my PhD research. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Welcome, Rohit. Thank you so much. And your words are very motivating. They will help me. And yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Modish has one question, sir. This was a good program. I expect much more session in future. Yes, definitely, definitely. अगर अनूप मुझसे torture नहीं हुए and I did not torture the team, then I think he will invite me again for some more sessions. So, yes. Okay. So I guess I would just like to request those who are here, can we please on our videos so that I can just take a screenshot of all of us together. So thank you, Sonali. Thank you for the nice words. Thank you. Can we take one screenshot? If all of you can just, uh, you know, open your videos for a while, so we can just take a screenshot. Yes, yes, it is very much possible. My email is there in the slides itself. So send me emails. If I can help you, definitely I will. Yes. Okay, for those camera is working, my humble request, if you can switch your video for a while, so I can take a nice memory picture for all of us. At least I also know who are my students, whom I taught. Okay, how can I give the camera permission? Anu, can you please give camera permission to all of this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just avail the camera's options.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think now you can try. So all of you, please, those who can, and my humble request. So at least we know कि हम किससे बात कर रहे थे इतने दिनों तक. Hello Priyanka. Hello. Hi. Hello Modesh. Hi. 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 Nice. Hello Amol. Hi. Nice. At least कभी कहीं आप मुझे देख लो तो हम कह तो सकते हैं कि अरे हाँ इनको हम जानते हैं because so right. Yes. Oh God. What? Yeah. Thank you, Aditi. Thank you for nice message. Yes. Okay, we are just waiting. अगर कुछ लोग और कैमरा ऑन कर लेते हैं, so we can click a screenshot. Aditi, Sonali, Harpreet, Siddhanta. Okay, Rohit told he cannot. Okay, so shall I click a picture? I will say 1, 2, 3, and just all of you look straight. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Siddhanta, yeah, please. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I guess it's fine. Okay, thank you so much. It was a lovely journey. So, mm, yes, this PPT is there in the form of a link. So I think again, if somebody is having the link, can you share? नहीं तो मैं भी drop कर सकता हूँ link again. So yeah, this is the full link. Yeah, you can use this link and whole slide is there actually. I hope that link was working, you know? Okay, great. So, ठीक है, then it was nice and good night then, and see you in some another course, another time, and at the platform Digital Nalanda. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. So Anup, may I leave?
Hi. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Welcome. Bye.